Hello and welcome to our KSP Career. I'm your host GrunfWorks, and the goal for today's episode will be we're going to do some SCANSAT stuff. Alright, yes, we will be sending some data from space around the moon, and I'm hoping that will be SCANSAT data. With that thing out of the way, let's see what do we have. High resolution visual SCANSAT survey of the moon. Yes, please. Then we have the low resolution altimetry SCANSAT survey of the moon. Yes, please. Alright, and I'm thinking there should be low resolution resource SCANSAT survey of the moon. I mean, I have all three, so let's go into the build, shall we? The build is going to be highly accelerated. This is a multispectral scanner. Oh, it's hideous. It's ugly. Oh, it requires 300 kilometers. I'm actually going to go with the radar altimeter, which requires 70 kilometers. And I think I can group it together with the visual one, because that one also requires, that's the one, and that one also requires the 70 kilometers as an ideal place for the scanning. So these two SCANSAT devices shall be placed on our newly developed, or the one that we're gonna develop, satellite that will be going into the moon orbit. And since it's a SCANSAT satellite, I'm gonna be placing it in polar orbit around the moon, because then it will eventually, when it does its orbits, it's gonna be covering ideally where it should be. And as you can see, I'm off-center these two devices because I want the center of mass to be roughly halfway. So that's kind of my idea. And I don't want to use 3x2 solar panels, but 1x6, because 3x2 would basically intersect, overlap, and they wouldn't really look nice. Two gyroscopes, I mean, it's tried and tested design, so I am gonna go with mostly tried and tested design. However, some additional batteries so that they can last during the night. This big antenna communitron, do I really need it? I mean, I would need it for Minmus, however. Oh, look at it, looks cool. Amazing, it really looks cool. Now, I'm actually gonna go with the regular Mun antenna. Let's first name it Mun SCANSAT Mark 1. Let's check the altitude of the moon, because I'm not sure what altitude it is. Let's just place first the thrusters, and after the thrusters we're going to check the altitude of the moon. So the altitude of moon is 11 kilometers. Okay, so after checking, I've noticed that the altitude of the moon is 11 kilometers, which means that HG5 high gain antenna will be more than enough. So yes, we're gonna stick to that one. All right, note that I have placed again the RCS thrusters, and those are here just in case we really mess up in terms of the deployment. Okay, I cannot use the Mothra fairings, obviously, which is pretty much a downer, because I really wanted to use them. I probably need to unlock the procedural fairings really soon. So I guess I'll have to launch this satellite as is. Yeah, I'll also need to unlock later on some actuators so I can make cool unfolding satellites. I'm really looking forward to that, by the way. Right, so with that thing being said, this has 726 meters per second, but that's in on sea level on Kerbin. In vacuum, it's around 2,000 or 3,000, so that should be more than enough. Let's place another Marlin engine. Soon enough, I'm gonna start going more interplanetary and more missions to Moon and Minmus. However, before I have the long-range ComSat, I don't think it's really feasible. Or actually, I could up to 200, so I could go from something like sun synchronous orbit to actually take, you know, some measurements. Okay, let's fix these decouplers. Okay, once again going with a Falcon Heavy type-ish design, because I haven't unlocked other, you know, tanks. I'm really looking forward to unlocking these Russian style, you know, Soviet style like Soyuz tanks, so I can make more Soyuz-like designs, but we'll see how it goes. So, and it's kind of historically lopsided because first going with, you know, SpaceX and then going back to Soyuz. Yeah, well, it's not my fault that the community tech tree unlocks these Mothra huge tanks right from the get-go, you know. Okay, so I'm placing the radial chutes, hoping that they will deploy eventually and soft land these boosters, or at least that they will trick the stage recovery in order to say, okay, yeah, we're gonna give you back your, you know, boosters, thank you. Right. Alright, I actually think that this is all okay. Yeah, a few more batteries. That looks good. I'm thinking I'm gonna go groups, 1 panels, 2 antenna, 3 third antenna, and we're done. We should probably go for launch, I think. Yes. I'm gonna skip for your convenience the building and the everything else, and as you can see, we are already launching. No fancy shots today because I don't know, after doing them so many times I figured you got bored of them, so I'll do it just once and here and there, so we'll do a bit more once we get a new launch vehicle or something else so that it looks really cool. Once again, I'm holding in the low atmosphere thrust to weight roughly between 1.5 and 1.8, just so that we don't combat the air pressure too much due to acceleration and everything. I've realized that it actually works quite nicely because then when you get higher speeds you're already above the thickest layer of the atmosphere. And of course, for your convenience, I'm showing this 2.5 times accelerated, so you get a chance to enjoy the launch but without dragging it for onwards and taking half of the episode. Right, okay, so I think I've went a little bit lopsided. So I have to correct the inclination, so it's like 0.0, something like as the Mun is, or Mun as you want to call it. And I'm gonna go with 100 by 100 orbit. That's pretty much standard orbit I launch in. I don't know, it's probably tutorial's fault that they want me to launch something like that, but I don't know. Anyway, so as you can tell, I've fixed a little bit. I'm no longer showing the angles of the remote tech because I found them to be way too obtrusive. So now you can only see the signals without the angles. And I'm going to reintroduce the angles, or the antenna angles, once we're going to go to Duna, Eve or whatnot, because then the angles will play a big role in terms of gameplay. However, right now, with the Mun and Minmas, they don't really do that much. Right. Expand the solar panels, extend the antenna, and we are ready for the burn, which should be starting in 27-ish seconds. So I can just time warp a little bit before we kick in the engine. 3, 2, 1, and hit it, Ike. There we go. 1200 meters per second to burn, so that will take the entire ascent stage and a little bit of the, well, orbital insertion stage. So the idea is that those boosters should hopefully land back, or not land, but fall back to Kerbin, and I'm hoping for a recovery, but given the re-entry speeds and everything, I'm not overly optimistic about it. We'll see what stage recovery has to say on that. Right, with that thing being said, we have circularized 110 by 97. Not my most proudest moment, but it's okay. So, let's... Oh, I pressed aim camera here. Okie doke. Well, okay, doesn't matter. It will look a little bit weird, but doesn't matter. Okay, we'll aim it to Kerbin and activate, please. Come on. Activate. Thank you. There we go. Beautiful. Let's aim the camera rather at the probe core. That will be much more handy. Right. So, now we have to do a transfer to Mun. And after some fiddling, which I wanted really to save you of all the finagling with the maneuver node, You couldn't see it in many of my other videos. I just figured it would be nice to show you the burn towards the moon, the transfer, and of course deployment into polar orbit, as well as starting up and firing the SCANSAT. Note, I'm not an experienced SCANSAT player. I know that you have to place them in decent orbit. I know that you have to activate them, but if they can run together, I have absolutely no clue. Let me know, guys, in the comments below, those of you that have been playing with SCANSAT, if that works. Okay, and we're starting on burn in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. 800 meters per second to burn, and we will be decoupling the stage right about now. We had Miko, and then we decoupled, and we have the successful fire on our little engine that will be taking us all the way to Mun. I really like how the reworked engines look. It's amazing. I really appreciate. And the mod community of KSP, it's amazing. I mean, the modders are unsung heroes of the KSP, really, because they extend and enhance the gameplay in so many ways possible. I mean, of course, the huge kudos goes to Squad as well for supporting the game for so long and whatnot, and now working on the KSP2, which I'm really eager to get my hands on and start playing once it gets ready. And I'm willing to wait until it gets done, you know, properly. I know a lot of people are anxious to play it, myself included. I really want to start playing. However, I'd rather play a game which is, you know, fully done so that we can really enjoy it, rather than half-baked product, which has lots of bugs and frustration and all that jazz. So, I'm a little bit fiddling because I want to get to somewhat, let's say, polar orbit-ish. So I'm actually just gonna go and tell computer to execute the maneuver node whenever it feels damn well ready. Now, let's switch back and enjoy as our little probe that will leave Kerbin. Bye-bye, Kerbin. Always a beautiful sight when you see it, and it's really hard not to comment. Look at these shots. This is one of the reasons why I love KSP. I know I keep repeating myself, and probably I'm boring you guys to death, but I know that you understand me. I know that you know what I'm talking about when we're talking about these beautiful shots. Leaving the planet, coming back to another planet or moon or whatever celestial body there is. There's just a special feeling to it. It's an itch that I have not seen the other game able to scratch, so to say. Oh, wow, that was a weird construction there, but you understand what I mean. I played a lot of No Man's Sky. It does scratch that itch a little bit, but this with orbital mechanics and so far it's only KSP. If you know another game that really scratches that itch, please post it in the comments below. I would be really eager to hear it. So, yeah, all right, beautiful. And we are expecting a small burn that will hopefully put us towards the moon's polar orbit. Not fully polar, of course, we will need to fix it once we get into the moon's sphere of influence. However, this will set us up for that. And you know, with the KSP, the point is the sooner you burn, the less delta V is gonna take, because it takes a lot less delta V sooner rather than later. So that's kind of the idea. All right, I'm gonna accelerate this portion a little bit because, you know, actually not this one, but once when I'm setting up the maneuver node, but I'm gonna warp to the sphere of influence change. Look at the dance of our medium range communications network. Can you see that we are having control the whole time? That's because these 3x3 by whatever satellites are actually redundant. And when we get another ring of a long range communication satellites, I feel we will really be well set up to be able to cover any planet that we so desire. So this moon periapsis sounds a little bit, you know, weird, and I agree. But once we transition, it's actually quite simple. So let us transition. There you go. See? It's not that weird at all. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to add another maneuver node. And now I'm going to fiddle in 2.5 time acceleration until I get it right here above, or sorry, below Mun. It's gonna take a while of fiddling. There we go. It does take a while to set it up properly. I wanted you to see it slightly accelerated so you do get a chance to see how it's done while still making sure that we have it done right. Or actually I didn't accelerate this one. No, I accelerated the circularization, I guess. Yeah, because you've seen it. Sorry guys, I'm doing post commentary and it's been a little bit while between me recording this and me recording the audio. So yeah, I'm gonna go for the 70-kilometer orbit because that's an ideal altitude for SCANSAT. There we go. Mun periaps is 70, and I'm just gonna punch it into the flight computer because flight computer for this kind of maneuvers, it's ideal. It really does what it's supposed to do. It does it well, it does it close enough, and the best part about it is I can actually focus on giving you beautiful shots, for example, something like this, rather than actually having to worry about what I'm gonna do, how it's gonna look and whatnot. So I can take a nice angle, accelerate time a little bit so you see the Mun approaching, and it's all gonna look fun and dandy because, oh, we're already at the maneuver node. Okay, I've missed that. Let's see, yeah, in 2 minutes and 47 seconds, we're gonna do the burn. So let's time warp a little bit closer to it. There we go, and now enjoy the cinematic shot. The reason, guys, I'm not giving you only the cinematic shots is I've gotten multiple comments of you guys telling me, GrunfWorks, show us what you're doing, so it's also part of, you know, tutorial-ish. So a good portion of my viewers is actually old-time viewers which already know these things, you know, in their sleep. However, there's also some percentage of people who are actually gotten KSP not so long ago, playing it for the first time, and it actually takes a while. Right, so this section is actually time accelerated because I just wanted to have 70 by 70 kilometer orbit. It's nothing weird, you just press buttons until you get 70 by 70 apoapses, and apparently I wasn't burning exactly at the periapses, which meant that it was a little bit lopsided. So, right, with a little bit of an angling, we get 69 by 70 or 70 by 70 something, and that's good enough. I'm really happy with that. We're gonna execute that one, and then we're gonna go to work. So now let's see. Now we can enjoy that beautiful cinematic shot that you guys have been waiting for. The shot as we approach the Mun. And actually, I'm gonna stop yapping and let you enjoy and savor it. There we go. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it glorious? Well, I certainly think so, and that's one of the reasons why no matter what games I play, I always come back to KSP. I always come back to it because it's so damn amazing. Oh, look at this. This could be the screenshot for the episode, except I see very little of the probe. We'll see what we take it. Now, I'm expecting that the burn should be occurring sooner rather than later. Look at our little probe sliding ever so gently in its rightful place. Yeah, we are closing up. 50 seconds to the burn. 30, 20, 10, and let's go into the cinematic mode. There we go. Look at that burn. And now it flipped on the correct orientation because we are actually beneath the moon's south pole. Funny, there is no really up and down in space. What can I tell you? All right, this is a glorious shot. Right, so what we want to do now is we want to check the orbit. It's good. We're going to have constant connectivity. We're not going to have constant sun, but that's okay, I guess. If I was a little bit smarter, I could aim that we get an orbit such that we can have constant sun exposure regardless of anything, but, well, nobody's perfect, and I'm nobody. So, right, starting the visual scan. There we go. Opening up, starting the radar scan. There we go. Beautiful. So I'm actually going to do a little bit fiddling, and then I'm hopefully going to show how it looks. Yes, this is a SCANSAT altimetry map of the moon, because we are mapping the altitudes right now, as you can tell, a little by little. However, I'm actually going to show the main map where I'm showing the visual terrain, because right now we are receiving data for visual high, as you can see. So it actually works. I did a little bit of finagling because I didn't understand if it worked or not. But if you look at the SCANSAT planetary mapping here, it does work, and it's mapping, and it's currently giving the visual high. And I'm actually thinking of maybe I should switch to the altimetry high as well. So let me just go with the radar altimeter, start SCANSAT radar, and look, it now switches to the radar altimetry map. And apparently it's receiving both. And that's the whole thing that I wanted to do. Let me know, guys, can you do both at the same time? I see the percentages are going up, which is definitely positive. And I'm hoping that it will be working as intended and it won't suck the battery dry, which is the second concern that I have. However, I feel that this looks promising, so to say. And of course, this contract is not going to be fulfilled now or anytime soon. It will be a long time by due now or anything else by the time this contract completes. However, it doesn't really matter. We can just sit back, enjoy the view from here, and enjoy how it looks. This will be, I think, screenshot for the episode because it looked just damn gorgeous. Yes, look at it go. And electric charge is sufficient, so we won't run out of battery charge. Anyway, guys, I think it's a good place to wrap it up for this episode. Like if you like the episode, let me know of a few instructions on SCANSAT, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.